If you want to be an expert witness, you need a book. But what kind of book? They're not all the same. I'll show you how you can write a book that will get you booked as an expert witness so you can make the big bucks on the witness stand. Hi, I'm Dan Janal, the author of more than a dozen books, including Write Your Book in a Flash. I'm a ghostwriter, book coach, and developmental editor, and no matter where you are in the writing process, I can help you write your book. Now, let's get started. Just today, I got a call from a friend of mine. He's a developmental editor, and sometimes developmental editors call me for advice because they know I know what I'm doing, which is really nice. He was writing a book or helping his client write a book. His client was an expert on digital issues, piracy, identity theft, things like that. And he said, the book wasn't flowing. And I said, well, tell me about it. Why wasn't it flowing? He said, well, he's got some chapters on how to become an expert witness. He has some chapters on what lawyers need to know about the problems with digital piracy and digital legal issues. And he had some sales material stuff. And I said, okay, well, I think I can help you. Let me ask a few questions. And I said, what does he want to do? What's in it for him? And I ask all my clients that. Why are you writing the book? He said, well, he wants to get hired as an expert witness by lawyers to help them win cases for issues around digital legal issues, identity theft, ransomware, stuff like that. Okay, cool. Great idea for a book. So I said, why on earth is he writing a chapter or a section on how to be an expert witness? That's crazy. That's not what the book is about. I mean, who is his target market? Well, obviously his target market are lawyers who are looking to find someone like him who's an expert who they can get to know, like, and trust so they can hire him to solve the cases. So what should the book do? The book should get to show him as the expert that he is in the areas that he wants to be known as an expert in. That's really clear. You don't want to have chapters on things that you do not want to be called for. So let's say he knows nothing about crypto. Don't write a chapter about crypto. If they call you and say, hey, I love your chapter about crypto. Can you be an expert witness for us on crypto? You say, well, no, I really don't know anything about that. Then you've wasted your time. You've wasted their time. You've wasted space in the book. So I told him, and I'm about to tell you, my foolproof formula for writing a book for expert witnesses. Here it is. There are 10 chapters. Why 10? 10's a good number. The middle 8 chapters are the guts of the book. The middle 8 chapters are those 8 topics that you can speak on that you want to be hired for, so they know you are an expert. The final chapter is the call to action chapter. That's the chapter where they realize how they can hire you and what you can do for them. Okay? The first chapter lays out the groundwork for the book. It might start by saying, if you're a lawyer who has a compelling case where you need an expert witness in this topic, you're in the right place, because you're going to learn lots of great information to help you become a smarter lawyer and to find a good expert witness who can help you win your case. The second part of the first chapter is your origin story, your signature story, the story that lets them know that you are an expert. Now, we're not talking about a resume, although it could be part of your resume, but it's really what makes you tick, why you love being an expert witness, why you love doing new research on these kinds of topics, or how you have helped lawyers in the past win cases. That's how they get to know, like, and trust you and see you as the leader who can take them from mess to success. Okay? The next part of the first chapter quite simply gives them a layout for the book, a roadmap for the book. What are the next chapters? What are they about? How do they consume those chapters? Do they have to read them in order? like for a how-to book, one thing builds on another step by step by step. But for a book for a thought leader or a expert witness, you probably don't need to read each chapter. You can probably just say something simply like, if you are interested in these topics, simply skip ahead to the chapter that interests you, and you'll find lots of great information that can help you win your case. I like to advise my clients to do that so lawyers don't feel like they have to read everything or feel guilty if they don't read everything, because the only reason people read a book, frankly, is to solve their problems. So if chapter 4 solves their problems, then it's money well spent and time well spent. They don't have to read the other chapters. You've given them exactly what they need. So cool. So we talked about the first chapter. We talked about the last chapter. So what's in the middle chapters, chapters 2 through 9? These are the 8 problems that you can solve. Think about the problems that you can solve, the topics you can solve, the topics that are the most fun for you to solve, the ones that are the easiest for you to solve, the ones that pay the most money for you to solve, and avoid the topics that you really don't want to work with anymore. They're too hard. They don't pay enough. Maybe some reason you just don't like that topic anymore. You're burnt out of that topic. Perfectly fine. Let them find someone else. Your book doesn't have to be the encyclopedia about this topic. It has to be the book that says, I know Dan, I like Dan, I want to hire Dan. When can we get Dan on the phone and see if this is a good fit? Okay. Now, how do you break down each chapter? How do you write those chapters? Well, you start with a story. Why? Because people love stories. People are hardwired to read stories, engage stories, learn from stories. And that's why we start with a story. So what would a typical story be? Joe Smith was the head of hospital administration for a large suburban hospital group. And he got an email one day that said, aha, I am from Russia and I have just put a ransomware on your computer system. You cannot access your files. You will go out of business in 24 hours unless you pay me $4 million. So that's the premise. That's the problem. And that's a problem, a very real problem. That's a problem that lawyers would say, oh my gosh, I had a client like that last week. I needed an expert witness who could talk about this. Cool. Okay. So you establish the problem. Then you talk about all the things they tried to solve the problem with. They tried emailing the person. They tried going to Google and looking for an example of how to solve this. They called a few of their hospital administrators friends to figure out how to do this. They called the Geek Squad at Best Buy to see what they could do. And they couldn't find anyone who knew anything really about this because it was such a new area. Then they called me and they described the problem to me. I said, oh, okay, we can take care of this. All you have to do is A, B, C, D, and E. And they did A, B, C, D, and E. And the situation was resolved. And as a result, now you have a quote from the hospital administrator, thanks to Dan, we were able to save tons of money and more importantly, save lots of lives and improve the quality of our patient care because we were never really down thanks to Dan's ideas for solving this problem. So I would heartily recommend you hire Dan if you have this problem. Okay. By the way, I'm not a ransomware expert. Don't call me. Okay. I think you knew that, but I had to say it. Cool. So that's the idea for the story. Now you get into the guts of things. What does the lawyer need to know? Lawyers should know certain things about ransomware. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Now, this is not techie stuff, deep techie stuff. They don't need to know the deep techie stuff. They just need to know that you know your stuff. And they need to know how to get in touch with you or to have you in their file for the future. So I'd suggest that in each chapter, you have a call to action that takes them back to your website so they can download a free file from you. It could be a checklist on questions to ask clients. It could be a report on various aspects of that topic. Something simple, doesn't have to be long. People don't want long stuff. But the idea here is that someone has bought your book. Maybe they bought it on Amazon. Maybe they picked it up for free at a conference. Maybe a sponsor gave it out to hundreds of lawyers at a conference, whatever. You don't know who they are. They know who you are. You want to know who they are so you can market to them. So if you create those digital files and ask people to go to your website to get those files, now they have to give you their name and their email address and any other information you want. But frankly, that's the basics that you would want to do. And that way you can begin marketing to them and seeing how you can help them in the future. So those are the keys to writing your book in a flash that's going to help you become an expert witness so you can charge lots and lots of money. And that way the book pays for itself. If you'd like to write your book or need help writing your book to be an expert witness, please call me. Go to my website at writeyourbookinaflash.com. And if you want to write the book yourself, we have dozens of other videos on this YouTube channel. Check them out, and you'll find lots of resources to help you write your book in a flash.